Hi, happy Friday, and welcome to the High Fiber Diet. I'm Kagi, and this is the end of May that I am coming to you twice in 1 month, believe it or not. There we go. Um, Welcome to those who are new, welcome back to those who are returning. And yeah, this is something that I just do for fun, nothing professional. And bear with me with everything. If you want show notes, I'm not doing that anymore. I did that 16 years ago. You can catch me on audio, and I will tell you it was so much easier back when I did audio. But this is a visual craft, so welcome to my craft room. Um, it's a bit of a mess right now. I'm in transition of changing it over into a full office and everything. So, what you can't see is the shit show of the day, but it is what it is. And so, I'm going to be talking about what I worked on these last couple weeks. Is it everything I have going? No. Am I going to go through everything that I have going? Absolutely not. But what I have finished and what I have put at least a couple rows on, I will talk about. So let's start with what I have finished. I needed 2 hornet or wasp, um, fake wasp nests for my garden. I got my garden all planted, all the flowers and everything. We do get wasps here, and I want the honeybees to come in. And so the wasps need to go away. And if you put one of these out, and I've used them for the last 2 years, and I toss them at the end of the year, they've gone through rain, they've gone through everything. When the garden goes down and it gets turned into winter, these just go in the trash. So I have filled them with noisy bags, the grocery sacks that you get. And so it's a great recycling. It is acrylic yarn. Some people use wool in that. I find that that tends to break down more. The acrylic lasts all season. And so I don't have a pattern for these. I've just looked at generalized nests out and about. And there's some texture, there's some circular things that they do. Some are rounded on the bottom, some are pointed on the bottom. And so I just start crocheting from the tip here, and I build up and then build back down and bring it up to a hook that these then go. One will go under the ambulatory ramp that we have, and one will go towards the back on a shepherd's hook. And so I have 2 of these that I have finished. I didn't even use a quarter of a skein of whatever acrylic it was that I was using. So if you haven't done these, and I mean, they can get mushed, and you don't want exact shapes out in your garden because nothing is an exact shape. So you just kind of mush them and use them, and they tend to make the wasps not build a nest near your stuff, and that works for me. I also plant things that detract from having wasps, like I have English lavender, I have mint, and everybody's like, oh, don't do mint, but I actually did mint under my ambulatory ramp for Sarge, and that way it keeps the grass from coming in, and it has siding on it, so it's not going to jump over, and it's exactly where I want it, and I love it, and the smell walking through is just amazing, but it keeps most of the predatory bugs away. I'm not a gardener by any stretch of the word. I am just who I am and learn from YouTube and throw things out and hope it goes. Our community complains sometimes because I do wildflowers and they're like, oh, it's weeds. No, the difference between a weed and a wildflower is one you planted, one you didn't. Well, I plant wildflowers, so that was one finished object. The other finished object I have, and I was going to do something along the lines of flowers and stuff, but I didn't. I just decided to go simple with this. This is a comfort cozy for my niece who lost her husband back in March. and this one will be sent out as soon as I finish the other one because it's going to the same area. I'm going to mail them together to my sister to give to her daughters. And all I did with this one, if you can see, I gradiated. And I started with, which side did I start with? I think I started with this side. And I cast on 100 stitches. So when using, it's going to be this way. And it is long enough to hold on your lap and have a nice cozy. It's also 5 full skeins of Bernay Super Saver. So it's nice. It's got a weight to it. So that's nice. This is baby pink, magenta, raspberry. Is it carnation? Let me look. I have it all listed. Peony. That's peony. And then back into baby pink. And all I did for this was, it's my own creation. So my camera fell over. So if you saw a big change, let's see, is that better? I think so. I cast on 100 stitches this way. And, well, 103 because I was doing double crochet. And then in the third stitch from the end, I did a double crochet and double crocheted across. And I held 2 together. And then I switched it out and held 1 with the beginning of a new. And because I knew I wanted pink on this end and pink on this end, I then moved to 2 together and then with the beginning of another. And I just gradiated it down, or as they say, faded it down, and ended with pink. And then I did a shell stitch on the edge just for a quick border. And I don't know, it's lap size. Exact measurements I don't have, but I don't even think I put exact measurements. Nope, I did 100 stitches wide, ruffle, shells edging, yarn held double are my notes on it. So this took, other than itty bitty balls, like this big, of what was left over for the next thing. And so I will show that when I get into whips, which is, I believe, right now. So I'm trying to clear off my desk and move it over here to finished objects. That's why this is all piled up. That's all stuff I'm going to talk about. So my other niece that was diagnosed with endometrial cancer, she is a purple, not a pink girl. So I decided to use different shades of purple. There's 3 there. Those haven't been used or are starting to be used. Plus, in between, I'm using, for 1 row, a bit of the colors that are left over. So I started with this grapey true purple. And I moved into a magenta. And I moved into another purple. One is hydrangea. One is, I don't think I have this one listed. Let me see. Have I put it into there to see what colors they are? This one, yep, for Samantha. So it is lilac, lavender, wisteria, raspberry, and mulberry. So those are the colors that I am working with. And this one I'm doing a little bit different. I did do the 100 stitches across, but then I did a single crochet back. And I started with one of the colors from Elizabeth's and moved it into a single crochet. And then I did a couple rows of double crochet. And then I went into a granny stitch, back into double crochet, And then I did a single crochet in one of the oddballs. And as you can see, I haven't woven in my ends yet. And so this is going to be about the same size. And I did do a ridge on the last single or double crochet. One of them I did in the front loop. And so right before I do the color change, I did a ridge. And I am continuing on with that. I'm hoping to get this finished up this weekend so I can get it mailed out. So you may only see pictures next time instead of seeing the full work in progress or finished object. This is being held in a bag that I got from Aldi. Picked it up on one of their Aldi finds, and I am using a K hook for the held double. Everything in this one is also held double, but I'm not marling it like I did with the other. I'm just holding it and doing colors. I wanted something different. So the next object I have been working on is one that I want to show a picture on, which is Long May She Wave. And this is another one in my 250th year of America. And so this is what I am doing. And it's got a star stitch in it that's different than the star stitch that I did on this one. And so this one was worked into it, and it came with the type of yarn. This one for Long May She Wave is one of the colors will be used, and so it's brought in as a secondary color like color work. I am using palette yarn in Hollyberry, which is the red. What is the cream called? Oyster Heather, which is more of a cream than a white, because the other one was true white. I wanted more of a cream, like a Grand Old Flag. And then there's a royal blue. And I haven't gotten to the blue yet. I'm almost there. I'm on the first set, still increasing. So this is being done on, it calls for a size 5 needle, but I didn't like the fabric, so I went up to a 6. And you cast on here, and you increase and keep increasing until you're at the width that it claims, which I think is 18 inches, and then it will go up steady until your decreases at the other end. But I have so far done this, and yes, with red and white I will be using a color catcher to block this, but I'm weaving in all the ends as I go instead of leaving it. I did pick up from Amazon some 250th stitch stoppers or needle minders or whatever you want to call them. I have a whole bunch of these, and they're in a box, but I mean, I picked up 12 sets, I think, and they weren't that expensive, but they are just silicone beads. There's holes on both sides. This is what they're selling you when they're selling you things for, you know, $5 or $6. I picked these up for a lot less than that. So that's a couple of them that I'm using. Again, the pattern is Long May She Wave. I don't have it in a patriotic bag because I'm using the patriotic bag for something else right now, and that I'm not showing. But I have this in a bag that a friend made. The next thing I'm working on, this is my shawl, And this I am doing out of some really deep stash. I believe this is Pony Boy by Miss Babs in Yowza. And everything wants to fall off. So you can see that it's got blues and greens and dark greens and just really flora type colors. And this has a lace pattern that you start with. Garter, you go down into the lace, and I know it's hard to see because it's variegated yarn, but I'm liking it, and I've wanted to use this. I think I have 6 skeins of this, and Yowza has a lot of yardage, so I know I'll still have enough to do a sweater out of it. But I am, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 2 more repeats of this lace to go. And then I finish with a garter edging on it, and it's called the shawl, and I thought it was pretty. And it does turn out to be wider than it is long, and so it'll be a nice autumn piece for me, and I like it. That is being done on size 8 needles, I believe. Yes, size 8, 5.0 millimeter needles. And the last thing I have been working on, and I've been kind of steady on this for the last couple of days, it's all I have picked up because I am that close to finishing. I'm talking 5 rows. If I decide to keep it the length it is, I want to see how much it grows because I'm not really sure. And this I'm holding in the bag Boo got me in Italy. And this is my, how do I pronounce that? Bear with me. Stella Alpina. And that is a summer tee by Mini Me Knit Designs. And I am doing this out of Kobu from Lion Brand, which is a bamboo yarn. And I am just using the color white. I don't normally wear white, but this one, I saw it on the Knitting Place and Pam was wearing it in white, and I went, yep, I want that. But as you can see, I did it to the length that they call for, and that is quite cropped. But once it's on, it's down, let's see if I can stand up a little bit. It's down to my waist, but do I want it past my waist? And I don't know how long this is going to block out because it is, there's a stretch to this. And once bamboo's stretched, it kind of sets. And so I don't want it too long and have to rip back. So I have bound it off, but if I need to unpick and redo, I will. Few changes that I made to this. I have added a bit of sleeve, and because you're supposed to just at the edge of this add 4 inches of ribbing, and that's it. So I added 13 rows of stockinette, 1 row of purl, and went straight into the 2x2 ribbing. I have just the ribbing left to go on this side. This is another one of my patriotic stitch stoppers that I got. It's a puppy dog paw. things I changed on this. It is a round yoke. While I like round yokes, I am not as big in the back as I am in the front. And so I moved, ooh, kitty snag, I'll have to fix that. I moved 20 stitches from the back to the front. And that gave me 4 extra inches in the bust area, which will fit here instead of having to do any darts or sharp rows. So I was able to do that. As you can see, the back is a little bit flatter than when I put the front forward. You can see a little bit more of the gathering here. And that's just because it's not across my bust. And at the beginning, when I picked this back up, because I started this way back last year, and I had set it aside because it's bamboo. When am I going to wear it in the winter? So, you know, it's coming up on summer. I want my bamboo sweater now. I was really leery on how many stitches, because there was over 400 stitches for my size. And I'm using basically a DK weight yarn for a fingering weight sweater, even though I've seen a lot of people knit it in DK. And I was like, is this going to be too big? So I put it on 3 cable needles that I put together that I had with stitch stoppers on them. I tried it on and I was like, and that was before I separated for sleeves, if I move this way, I don't have to do the extra short rows in the front to give bust darts, and I'm good. Because for me, with a round yoke, if I don't move the shoulders, if I don't move the armholes, I always have to put in short rows. It also called for a few short rows in the back. It called for 12, I believe, 6 sets, and I only did 4. And that was to raise it just enough. I do, however, think because of how stretchy my cast on is, that I will probably come in from right here around the back to right here and crochet chain on the inside just to stabilize it so it doesn't fall. And in fact, depending on how low the scoop goes, once I'm in it and tried it on, because this is right now here, which is about where I wear my clothing. If it goes much lower than that, I may crochet chain the whole thing. And that will encounter how long this is. Now it calls for 8 3/4 inches, which is what I have here. And then the 4 rows of ribbing at the bottom. What I'm thinking is most of my sweaters are 11 at that point for summer sweaters. However, this is what I'm looking at. How much, because it's bamboo and it's weighty, how much is this going to stretch? And I can get it to stretch to 12 inches with the ribbing. And so that's where I play into the, am I going to rip back and add more? Or so at this point, I'm going to wait till it's blocked. Right now, it looks short and stout. But I have a feeling with all this lace, it's going to grow some. And as I pull down just enough that it's going to be weighty, I know that this is probably going to hit me just over the waistband of my jeans by about this much, if it grows like I think it will. And the sleeve should hit me right about elbow length, if I've pulled it enough and figured that out correctly. Depends. So I'm not opposed. So I am not weaving in my ends on the bottom until after I block it, so I know if I need to rip back or not. But I really like this. I love the laciness of this front. I don't know if you can see it better like that. It's very, very intricate, very pretty, very easy to do. It just looks hard. And like I said, this is very stretchy here. So we will see. We're going to play it by ear. And I have Cupid hair all over it. And as you can see by how I'm having to grab it, how much the front has to be pulled forward for those sleeves. And that's an easy way to accommodate for the girls when you're making a round yoke sweater. Because if it's top down and round yoke, you can adjust. If it's bottom up and round yoke, you can adjust because it's where you put the sleeve openings to accommodate for everything else. And it's an easy fix. Just figure out how much. I mean, even if you didn't do a swatch, you can lay a tape measure on there and say, I'm getting this many stitches per inch. How many should I pull? And I wanted to pull 4 inches to the front. And so I moved 10 from each side and moved it up. And that was easy. So I think that is it on that. What are my future things? I have a couple things that are more summery that I want to get done and I've had since Christmas, and a couple things that I've purchased in the last month. I don't know if I've talked about them, so I'm going to go for it. First thing I want to show you is I got this from my friend Lori 2 years ago, maybe 3. I think she sent it in a Christmas gift. It looks like a new lipstick tube. Words and Things. I keep this in my purse. I love it. She put some felt in a lipstick tube and she put pins in it. And when I need a sharp needle, now I don't know if she put steel wool in there or what, but all of these needles are very sharp. And I love this. You just bring it back down, it closes up, and it goes right into the tube. Now, don't pull it out to use on your lips, but it's a great that if I'm in a place where I know I need to darn something or something like that, I have this and I love it. So that's just something I'm showing you. I did get a whole bunch more needles, so they will be going in there. These are self-threading needles, which I prefer for threads for me with my eyesight. And that's why this is laying up here on my desk, because I need to get that situated. But back at Christmas, I got a shoulder bag leather kit. And let's see, do they have a bigger picture of what the shoulder bag looks like? Okay. So it's just a little shoulder bag. And I thought to make that up for having use in the summer. And it came with everything in it. This was off Amazon. It wasn't that much. I gave a few away for Christmas presents, and I want to sit down in the coming weeks and make this up. Along with that, I'd like to do a little bit of gift knitting. And I had gotten from Flax and Twine some Naomi mini bowl kits. And it comes with everything. Let's see if I can open this easily. To make 4 different balls, or bowls. Why did I say balls? So all the pieces are there. The kit is all there, and how to. And I've never done this kind of twinning to be able to do this, so I want to learn how. And it comes with this how-to instructions. And I'm looking forward to doing that. Something that I can sit down with that's not just knitting. And, you know, it's okay to suck at something new. I keep saying that. And change is good, but learning something new makes the brain work a little bit harder. And so I have that, those 2 items. And I also have another kit here from Babylon Leather that I got for Christmas again. It's my first Christmas. And this one is the Picotin bag. and I got it in peacock blue. Let's see, I don't know if I can open it up. It's all put together, but the whole kit is here, and this has videos, it's got videos on how to do it and how to work it up, and so I'm excited to get into this one. I want to do the other one to make sure I'm doing everything correctly before I get into this one, because both will be used, but one is like a muslin and the other is, if you know what I'm saying, I'm saying. There you go. Doing a lot of baby gifts these days. I went ahead and picked up a snap fastener kit. So it has a whole bunch of different fasteners. It has the little mechanism for doing it. It does both plastic and metal. And I want to get back into doing more baby items, and instead of having them seamed at the bottom, do snaps. Instead of having buttons up here, do snaps. It's just easier for for moms and dads. And talking about baby items, I think I talked about how I did booties and I couldn't find a source of booty bottoms in the United States, and the ones from England were saying because of the tariffs they weren't sending here. I already have the pattern, but I got these from Idaho TaylorMade off Etsy, and Tammy Taylor is her name. It's custom tags and patches, pre-made patches, ultra suede, crafting accessories, and novelty gifts is what she does. And so that's Idaho TaylorMade. And the two that I picked up were just a plain leather look. And so it's a set of two. And then I got one in this orange color, which I am in love with right now. And I have a couple things going that I'm thinking about starting in these colors. But caution, instructions not included. I thought that was really cute. But I think with this one, what I'm going to do is I have a bunch of felt squares. And because these are 0 to 3 month size, they're not going to be walked on. And I think I'm going to take a stencil and start cutting out my own, because I really like giving booties. And I don't know if they get used. I just think they're adorable, and I want to put them on the little feeties that I know. So that is what I got. I've been watching some videos out there about things, people complaining that interchangeable needles aren't worth it, and this is wrong and that's wrong, and oh my gosh, do this. Well, the one thing I can say is everyone has an opinion. I have my own opinion. I don't always have to voice it, but watch everything, including my videos, with a grain of salt. None of us are experts. I mean, even when you're getting paid for something and you're doing it as a job, you can be wrong. And sometimes the greatest respect you can give someone is admitting that you are wrong. And I just, I don't know how else to put it. There are things and patterns that I look for, and if they're in it, I won't make the pattern, but that's me. And what you like, I'm not going to yuck your yum. Do your yum. If you like brioche, have at it. I would rather do half fisherman's rib than brioche, so if it says brioche, I'm probably not doing it. They're close, but they're not the same. If you like a certain designer, like them. Who cares what the internet says they do? You know, it used to be back in the day We didn't know the politics of people. We didn't know who they slept with. We didn't know what religion they were. We didn't know any of that. And so you knit what you wanted because you saw it, you liked it, and you made it. Nowadays, everybody is all about the I can't do this because of this. They said this, so I can't do that. I understand money talks and I get it. But the slamming of something because somebody talked to someone, discord, true discord is when you can fully respect another person having a disagreement. You don't have to agree with everyone, but you have to show them respect. And I don't have to like you as somebody that's going to go out for a beer with me in order to sit down and knit with you. This is a knitting thing. This is not, yeah, I like having beer with, whatever. But normally it's wine, not beer. But anyways, there's a lot out there on the internet that's scary. And I want to jump on the bandwagon. And the problem with the masses of people is they become asses of people. And it just because the mob's doing it doesn't mean it's okay. Integrity is going against the mob and ensuring that what you truly believe is what you're following. And in my life, it goes God, country, family, work, and then hobbies. I don't do it another way around. And your way of doing things may be different. You may not believe in God. That's fine. You may not think that the country comes before family. Well, we were a military family. That's just how, I was raised that way. If duty calls, duty calls. And family absolutely comes before work, but there are some people that are so indebted that work has to come before family. And, you got to make up your own decisions. But just because Bobby Sue doesn't like this designer, and oh my gosh, this designer talked to someone else, I don't get to be mad at them. I don't get to call them names. I don't get to be slandery. I get to voice my opinion. And I normally do that in a way that is constructive. But some people are letting their keyboards run away and write checks their asses can't cash. And why? Why are you doing that? And is it really giving you the dopamine that you need to make it through the rest of the day? I don't know. But I guess it's on a downslide that I'm leaving this one. But really, be you and have the integrity to stand up for what you want to do. And remember, you're the only one that can make those choices. And others perceive you through the choices you make. You have the freedom of speech if you're in the United States. What you don't have is freedom from the consequences that speech might bring about. So just know that you might have checks you got to cash. So I guess on that note, have a great couple of weeks. I'll see you in a little bit. June's coming up, so check your checkbook before starting the high fiber diet. Bye-bye.